Happy Friday. Welcome to the third episode or third live stream of the Mothership transcription and tutorial series. It's probably going to be the last one I do on Mothership for a while. I think that I'm going to probably move on to another tune and then just start hammering away at Mothership on my own time. Start just like doing it really quickly instead of these little half-hour segments. So, as per usual, I think I'm going to hop on and get a little bit of warming up done and just kind of play for you guys a bit. And then we'll jump into doing some transcription and tutorializing is a word that I just made up. So, don't mind me. Welcome in, by the way. Joy says hi. I see a few others have joined in. So, thanks for hopping on this Friday. So yeah, here's the intro to my tune Mothership. I'm going to play it really slow. Once again, haven't really played anything yet today, but here goes nothing. Let me get this angle set up. And we get back into the section that we transcribed in the first of this series. So this is a pretty fun tune for me to play. Just a lot of 16th note passages, a lot of muting, a lot of percussive techniques and elements that are going into this. You've noticed already a couple of times that there's some left hand muting with right hand plucking, and some left hand tapping that I'm doing to get that percussive effect. We're going to get into that today, how to do that, how to notate it, how to read it. And some more weird polyrhythms with this, not polyrhythms, but odd meters anyway, with this section in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I do that right? I can't do that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So lots of really cool stuff for us to jump into today. Why don't we just go ahead and hit up finale? And I've already got the document pulled up, so why don't we jump into the Eternal Void for a second? Here we go. In the Eternal Void, we are. Say hello, everyone. Will it ever stop? Could create kind of interesting. I'm getting distracted. Oh my goodness. Time to transcribe. All right. Well, for those of you who have tuned into the last couple of streams, here's our progress so far. I haven't done anything more than what we've done in this stream. What I'm going to end up doing after this is, over the next week, probably get into actually just deep diving into this song and just doing it all as quickly as I can. So first things first, there's a pickup here that I didn't play, but it's a quintuplet pickup. All it really is a rake across a couple of harmonics. So I'm going to hit Command 9 right here. Actually, it's going to be Option 9 because I want 5 notes in the space, or 5 16th notes in the space of 4 16th notes, which is going to give me a quintuplet. That just means that I'm going to rake across basically 6 strings, but in the span of one beat, I want 5 of them because I want to land on the low 6th string on beat 1 of the first bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, right? And that's where the song will start. So I think we've got a little bit of lag here, but that's okay. F sharp, da. And then what is that? Harmonic. I should know that. High G, and I'm gonna have to put high G, D, A. G, D, A. Good. And then I'll have to notate an octave above, and then what I'll do just like right away is take this down to the tab, because once I notate these in or as harmonics, they'll go down to the tab with that diamond shape as well, and I don't want that. So this will be a really easy fix. Oh, I got some volume here. I'm gonna actually have to adjust that. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Let's head over to the studio and just take that guitar sound down, because I don't want any of that. Not right now. And then while we're here, I'm just going to take all of these down to the 5th fret. Back to page view, just so we can get the full picture of what we're doing today. So this first page is what we're actually going to complete. This is my goal. I'm going to see if I can do this in under 30 minutes. Actually, I've already forgotten to set my timer. So here we go. 25 minutes left. Let's see if we can do this. And then what I'm going to do, actually, that's not the one I need. I'm going to indicate that all of these are going to be played up an octave. Let's see. Octava. I think there's a shortcut for that, but I haven't managed that yet. Deal. And then what I can do, just going to take care of this entire bar right off of the bat. Go down to my special tools palette, grab all 5 of these notes, double click, find the diamond shape hiding in here somewhere. There's one of them, but I want the solid diamond shape. I think I might have passed it already. But you know, I'm jumping straight into the work here. So for those of you who are online right now, feel free to say hey in the chat. I saw Joy logged on. You're here every week, Joy, and I really appreciate that. That's really kind of you to take time out of your day to jump in on this. I know Howard is probably jumping around in there too. Feel free to say hey. Why aren't I finding this? I always find this so quickly, and all of a sudden, now that I'm on the spot, I'm not seeing it. There it is. 228. It's good to remember. And then what I can do here, oops, is just say harmonic, harmonic, harmonic. I know this is a little bit different from how guitarists will notate their harmonics, kind of what I have for my studio. Or this, excuse me, that was kind of a weird sentence. This is just kind of how I do it with the software that I have. Now, so I'm going to stick to, I'm going to actually kind of zoom in a little bit. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. I'm going to kind of just stick to this standard notation for a while. A little bit closer so you guys can really get a nice bird's eye view here. Is that what that is? A bird's eye view? I don't know. So why? I don't want triplets right now. So here's what we got. Starting up on a low E, I'm going to change that to an 8th note. That's going to tie over and start on the and or the E of 2, counting in 16th note subdivisions for those of you who are watching or watch in the future. When we're transcribing, and even when we're counting and learning new music, there's what's called rhythmic solfege. Like if you can think of scale solfege, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I did not start on a proper do there. I just kind of said do. Rhythmic solfege is similar. It's if you're counting in beats, larger beats like quarter notes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 8th notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and triplets would be 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and then 16th notes would be 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, and then past that like sextuplets and 32nd notes. I actually don't know. I've never really had to count those out loud before, but what we have here are 16th notes. So we're hopping in on the E of beat 2. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a. It's a nice little easy riff. Do do do. Ba, da. sharp, and then an eighth note. Then right, A, C sharp, D, A. Oops, that's fine. It's not what I wanted, but that's fine. F sharp again. No, G. So there are a couple of hammer-ons and even a couple of tapped notes in here that I haven't notated yet, but we'll get to that here in a second. For now, I'm just going to keep up with the standard notation. So now we have a... Oh, no, I'm actually not doing this right. You know what? I'm going to save that for later because I forgot that in the intro. I do things a little bit differently. So I'm going to say that's coming back at bar 9. That's actually what we're going to use. That's the main riff. But remember in the intro, I do things a little bit differently just to kind of keep things a little interesting. So here's, I think you guys remember what I did just a minute ago. Oh man, my fingers aren't warmed up. When I first came up with that riff, it's a riff that's divided into 5 subdivisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would just keep that going until the 5 eventually rounded out to land back on the beat. And I found that to be kind of cool, but also a little bit more awkward to hear than I liked for it to be. So I decided to chop it down a little bit. So got to delete all this work that we did, but it's going to come back in a little bit. So no worries. Boom, boom. Some of these are going to stay. Up to a D on this guy. All we're doing there is just outlining a nice D major triad. So A to a D to an F sharp, and then this open G is kind of a passing tone to get to an A, which is really nice. Would be 5th fret, 4th fret, 2nd fret, 5th string, 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string. So hammer on to D, F sharp is right there on the next string, and then we want G. Oops, that should be a 16th note. My default is 16th. And then A. Okay, so that's the end of that measure, and then we are going to have how do we do this? See, this is why these transcription live streams are valuable, is because it even teaches me how I do this stuff. I don't always know. Sometimes I'm just throwing my fingers at the fretboard, and it's a lot of fun to do it that way. But now I got to really learn my own music. Let's see. So D, A, F sharp, G, A is going to be the pattern. What did I say? D, A, F sharp. D, A, F sharp, G, A. And that's it. And so what I can do, since that's a pretty repetitive pattern, I think I bring it back 2 more or maybe 1 more time, is just like take that, move it straight over here. So I've got now D, F sharp, G, 1 E, and yeah, this is where it's going. Now we're cooking. I actually really like that little syncopated bit. And then I think will I be able to No, I'm not going to be able to use that. So what I know I can use is this rhythmic figure over here. Now you're noticing this is all getting crunched up, so I'm probably going to move this down to something like two measures per stave, because when you have, 16/16 notes on one line plus a quintuplet in the beginning, your notes start looking a little bit cramped. Which is why we have coffee. No, it's not why we have coffee. Who cares? But actually, you think I can take from down here, right? Sort of. Nah, we'll just go up here and make it fresh. A, C sharp, D, A, B. Yeah, you see even the software is like, man, I don't like cramming this many notes. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm actually gonna back up and just preemptively fit my measures to 2 bars a line for now. Let's say we do it this way. I think this is gonna work. This is gonna be a really long tab. I think probably the better part of 10 pages if I'm not careful. I see a few more of you have joined on. Welcome in. Our Friday morning ritual of transcribing is going pretty steady right now, and I'm really enjoying it. Let's say we do 2. Whoa! That's that's fine. How about this? And that'll do for now. It's gonna really spread things out, but I'll edit the tab later. That's all we really care about. So I had committed to doing 16 bars today, and we're already 15 minutes in, and I've only gotten 4 down. So we'll see how quick the next part goes. I might have to do a part 4 for this, but that's okay. Now I know this bar has 6/4 polyrhythm or 4/6 polyrhythm, whichever one. So it's actually going to pull this measure into a bar of 6/4, which is kind of foreshadowing some phrasing that's to come in this piece. So I really like the way this feels. Bump dun 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 bump dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. How is that going to fit? So this dotted 8th note and 16th note figure is to help us keep track of the quarter note pulse, and then up top I'm going to have this motive that you guys heard a minute ago that will keep we'll kind of like warp the beat a little bit. Sounds something like this, something like that. That's the idea. Triple, or like 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 trip, and I think that'll do it. So let's try going into layer 2 really quick here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the bass, there's going to be 6 notes. In the top line, there are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how is that gonna work in finale? So let's see, command 9. I want, 4 notes in the space of 3 notes, right? Yes, exactly. And then same thing here. Let's get another 4 notes in the space, 4 quarter notes in the space of 3 quarter notes. So on top, there are going to be, and I'm going to actually flip these layers because right now they're looking a little bit, actually, why don't I just do that right now? Move, copy in, layers. Let's just flip layer 1 and layer 2. That'll make things a lot easier to read. Bam! So much nicer. All right. So this is going to be our polyrhythm. You can already see there's 1 quarter note here, 5 other quarter notes here, and then over the top there are 4 duples, I guess is what you could call them, instead of duplets, I guess is what you could say. So while there are some steady quarter notes happening down in the bass relative to the previous measure, up top there are going to be 8 stretched out notes that will fit over the top of those 6. So it'll sound really, really interesting. Let's see what we can do. I just got to identify those notes. So this is actually going to be a rest, but I'll get to that in a minute. I think I'm confusing myself, but let's just see what we can do here. So oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Just have to do these manually. And then we have a D, a harmonic D here, which I really like. And then C sharp, B, open B, so lots of cross string action happening here. And then an A and a G. Oh, excuse me, man. That's what we're going for. I'm actually confusing myself on what the bass is going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, that's just going to be a straight 8th note. That's very surprising and nice. Oh, not a 30-second note. We don't want that. Right. So I'm still trying to figure this out. I might have to come back to this in the essence of time. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I'm getting confused. I can play this rhythm really well. So I know there are 3 of you watching, and if any of you are feeling confident as to what this could be. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1 E, and 2 E, and okay, so this is correct. This 8th note is good. I've just got to get what comes next. 1 E and 2 E and 3. Yep, happening up on beat 3. Okay, now we're rolling. Now I'm starting to get a hold of what's going on here. I think in my head, obviously, like when I was playing it, all I really wanted to do was feel out the quarter note pulse underneath. That way we get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And that E, or that 8th note there, is just designed to kind of give our listener a bit of a perspective shift on the tuplet happening over the top, or the duplet happening over the top. So this will be a quarter note, or a half note. And there we go. Okay, I think that's going to be the thing. right, there it is. That's what this part looks like. Man, that was trickier to notate than I thought it would be. I had to really digest that one for a second. Okay, this next bar is not going to be too much of a problem. All in 4, 2 bars of 4, in fact. So that's going to be nice. And we've even got a riff that I've already notated over here. It's going to be nice and easy. So nice and simple there. Oh, you know what? This is no longer in 6. Ooh, actually, I got to be careful with that. Really careful with that. Uh-oh, hang on a second. Oh, no. So here's what I'm going to have to do, y'all. This is a really unfortunate mistake to have come about this session. Correcting my mistakes, because when I changed that bar to 6/4, oh no, everything else changed to 6/4 with it. That's a huge problem. Okay, so I'm just going to Command Z it, undo basically everything I did. I copied the bar, no worries, but basically until everything turns back to 4/4, I'm going to have to. That's a huge bummer. Not that big of a deal though. I'm just going to kind of Command Z, Command Z, Command Z until all of this stuff fits back into 4/4, and it looks like we're almost there. Man, by doing these live streams is a really interesting process. Are we there? Yeah. All right. We're all set. I think that was an easier problem to fix than I anticipated it to be. And now my screen is locking up on me. What is happening? What just happened? Oh, goodness. Are you serious? Wow, it really took me way too far back. That's insane. Hang on a second, y'all. This is a huge problem. Okay. So what I might end up doing, since we're already a half an hour in, this was a little bit, well, we're 20 minutes in. This has become a little bit more of a bust than I wanted it to be. So I noticed now that a few of you have hopped on. You guys hopped on at a kind of catastrophic moment in this stream where changing the meter here changed all of the meters over here. And then the slurry of me undoing all of my work, I actually undid a couple of extra bars of work. So let's see what I can do to fix that. Undo, redo, come on. And for some reason, my redo hotkey is not working. So I'm just gonna, oh man, this is such a bummer. So I'm sorry to those of you signing on right now. You're just watching me do a kind of chaos control right now. I swear we've gotten some pretty good work done here today. Redo mass paste, that might help me out. Well, this is the nature of transcription, you guys. I mean, especially when you're working with big software like this, there are some mistakes that happen that just make a lot of problems for us. But I actually think we're getting close. So we're not so far away from just basically being back where we were at 2 minutes ago. Basically sweating over here over something that's not that big of a deal. But if you hopped on, say hey in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. I'll hear your lovely voice in my head. There we go. Now we are getting back to where I want to be. Okay, so you see where it says redo time signature change? If I were to do that here again, then everything would change back to 4/4. So what instead I'm going to do is change this to 6/4, but only from measure 4/4. Okay. Huzzah! We're back to 4/4 here, and hopefully yes. All right. Whew. Back on track. I thought that was going to be a lot more stressful than it ended up being. All right. Save. Command S. What up, Howard? Welcome in. So here we are. We've got 4 bars done. We're 20 minutes in. I think the next few are going to go a little bit quicker. Let's just get back on track here. Now that we're back in 4/4, I can just kind of get my speed back up. Bum, bum, da dum, da dum. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and yeah. So here we are. Bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. 1 E and 2. Oh, no. So you know what? Actually, this is going to be layer 2. I want to move and copy layers. Contents of layer 1 into layer 2. There we go. Now, when we go to layer 1, I think I've got a couple of this is the bar we're working on now. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E. Yep. So then I've got one more bass note in this bar coming in on the of 3. So we'll make this a half note for now. Actually, we'll make it a quarter note tied to a dotted 8th note. And then my next bass note comes in right here, and that's going to sustain me for the rest of the bar. Let's go back here and tie that over, and then we get to transcribe, not transpose, that melody. Super funky. All right. 5, rest. Then we're going to hop in on the second note of E2. I'm harmonizing all of this in 6. So oh, that should actually be E. And then that's going to be an 8th note. Yeah, so the next one comes in on beat 3, which feels really good. Kind of imitating something called a Scotch snap here. There's an entire video on YouTube describing these Scotch snaps. So it's going to be a G. Basically, it's just a 16th note, 8th note figure. It's all over the place in hip hop now. Apparently, these are really common in old Scottish tunes and old African tunes. I not totally brushed up on my history of the Scotch snap, but I really like the way they sound. So here we are with them. Da-dum, ba-dum, and that's going to be in right. Hang on. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. All right. So that's going to be a dotted 8th note. And then so starting up on an E there. I'm significantly less stressed now that my entire document hasn't been destroyed. Actually, I think there's going to be another. Yeah, so this same dotted 8th, 16th figure in layer 2 is going to come around. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do today, guys, is a part 4 next week where I get into the main theme here. This, because I'm already jumping into the half-hour range, and I try to keep these things under a certain amount of time. But even if I can get these first 8 bars done, I'll be a happy camper. that over to probably another, as far as I can remember. One E and a 2. Yep, same rhythm. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and so it's the same rhythmic figure. Oh, I love repetition. Makes my life so much easier. Effective repetition at that. Sorry, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and actually, yeah, so we're going to stop that pattern on beat 3 and then just let it ring out for the rest of the bar. I really love the way this section sounds. It just starts building up the momentum so quickly, and then that last bar before we get into the main riff is just a lot of fun. So I think I want to tie this over. So we got a C natural and an A sliding up to, I guess, what I could call a D flat and a B flat. It's kind of our blue note there. So yeah, that's what I'm going to call them. Because I could also call it a C sharp and an A sharp. For those of you who are watching, spelling and music theory is pretty important here. In this case, there are two things I'm thinking about. I want these to be a D and a B because stepwise, I want it to actually appear as if the note is moving up. If I were to just keep them on the same line in the same space and spell them as a C sharp and an A sharp, then that wouldn't really showcase what the notes are doing. It would be more of like a modification of the notes. But what I really want to show is that I'm moving upward away from the notes. So I'm indicating them as a D flat and a B flat. The other reason for that is because it's kind of notating my sharp, what key am I in? I'm in the key of E. So I've got that flat 2 and that flat 5, which is the blue note, which I'm going to really play a lot with here. So ignore my weird scatting. That's going to tie over as well. Give me that next B flat, B flat. And we're going to do the same exact thing. And don't need to re-indicate those flats here because they're already there. Very busy set of measures, Howard says. Yeah, so Howard, I think you came in just after I had kind of a tech catastrophe up here. But when I finish up these next couple bars, I'll actually show you what's happening. There are a lot of things happening here because essentially this intro is setting up a lot of the ideas that come throughout the rest of the song. So I am essentially cramming a lot of stuff into the first 8 bars of this tune. But I think once you hear it all put together, it'll make a lot of sense. Tie that over for another 16th note. 6. And the reason a lot of this music is really busy, right, is because we're trying to cover a lot of bases. I'm trying to cover a rhythm part, a melody part, and then a harmony part, right? So our rhythm part is essentially being taken care of by this red note down here. This is our bass line. Our melody is being taken care of by the note on top, and then I'm just harmonizing the melody in 6, which is a really common way to support melodic passages, and therefore I'm getting a pretty full texture out of it, and it's a very nerdy, very exciting thing to be doing. Boom, bum, and then I got an open G and right? No, an open D, excuse me. D natural. Ah, that's the note that we've actually been waiting for. D natural and B. This D flat, B flat actually is the leading tone that I was waiting for. Okay, good. That is going to range over beat 4. All right, I'm going to tie it over beat 4. And then give me another dotted eighth note. And then we're going to be on to the last measure for today. I was very ambitious to, oops, not a dotted eighth note. What am I saying? I was very ambitious to assume that I would get 16 bars done in half an hour, but what's life without a little bit of overreaching ambition? Maybe it's just the coffee speaking. I don't know. So I guess what I could do, where's my timer at right now? 35 minutes in. What I could do is finish off the last couple of bars and then tab it out. The good thing about all of this is that most of it is in open position, meaning that we're not going to have to do a lot of editing for the tab. Right, so we have So I think I actually want to give this bar here an extra beat. Ooh, don't make the same mistake that I made last time. In fact, why don't I just save it right now? Command S, y'all. 5 beats. Not really going to. Oops. Yep, I made the same mistake. Dang. I gotta be more careful, you guys. Number beats, 5 beats, measure 6 through measure 6. Aha, and then what I can do, it's the weirdest thing to sing of all time. Just gonna go over here where I get da-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ooh, it's actually gonna be another bar of 6. So I gotta actually go edit that back again. You have autosave. Howard says he has autosave parameters on my story writing. What software do you use to write your stories? And how often does it autosave is the question. I could actually probably do the same thing here, but I haven't done that yet. I haven't gotten that far, but I should. Okay, so 2 extra beats actually. And then we'll actually, I think we're going to end up getting into a bar of 5 finally. Ooh, whoa, what is happening? Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Damn, what? That was so awkward. Okay. Accidentally dragged my riff into the endless void. That was scary. Oh, man. All right, here we are. Oh, that's not supposed to be 7. Let's fix that. You all are witnessing lots of mistakes today, more so than usual. I think that's because maybe the ambition was too high. That's okay, though. All right, 2 more bars to go, and then we'll be ready for next week's live stream. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of these live streams are just going to be me looking up into my own brain, trying to figure out what I'm actually doing. It's going to be silent and awkward. So this next bar is going to be in 5. And then the following bar is going to head back to 4. And that should be good. And I'm thinking Nah, I'm not going to be able to use any of that right now. Good. So this is a very active bar, Howard, and everyone else listening. Howard pointed out how active and crazy these bars are looking. This is going to be the most active of them all 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in layer 2, I'm going to do something a little bit funny and just give myself 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, that's going to be an 8th note. 2, 3, 4. And then that's going to be an X. And then an A. So I should actually notate that. So this is going to be a muted note. Actually, all of these except for the first note are going to be muted notes. I'm just kind of preemptively setting them out. Oops. Good. And then another A right on the beat. 2 8th notes there on the E. So right now, all I'm doing is just notating the bass line here. It's going to be kind of hard to hear underneath all this madness. But and then another muted note. 1 E and then another 8th note. Wow, 8th notes, so friendly. Anytime I get to notate 8th notes, I get a little bit excited because the 16th note things can be a little bit intense to deal with. The other great thing about doing this kind of intro is when I'm notating it, I can just copy and paste it when it comes back later and then edit it from there. 1, 2, 3. I'm not even paying attention right now. What am I doing? Let's just get cracking on the melody, because this is going to be another weird section where I have to kind of beam everything a little bit differently. So we want a dotted 8th here. Oh, rest, yeah. E and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I see what's happening. So again, this is where doing these live streams is a bit scary for me because I'm making a lot of mistakes in front of, just like 4 or 5 people. But it's interesting to go through this and kind of break down my music in a way that I don't even know, that just kind of allows for a lot of error. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. There it is. That's what I wanted. So and then back to layer 1 for a second. See, this is what I should have done with the bass line from the beginning, but I'll fix that. This is going to look really chaotic for just a little bit. I'm going to get myself a full-on E minor and first inversion here. And then I'm going to do a hammer on back down to my F sharp and D. 6, that's what I wanted. And this actually in the bass should be an 8th note. Oh man, step-by-step processes here, you guys. Yes, this one right here. Command 4, 8th note. So up here we have an 8th note. Man, this is such a chaotic measure right now. It's stressing me out a little bit. Back up to that open E minor chord. Da-da. Oh, all the way up to an A and a C sharp. That's lovely. That's very nice. Da-dum, da-dum. And then back down to an E. It's going to be an eighth note. Again, this is just going to look terrible until I go back and beam it up a little bit. So, Scotty. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Nice and easy. B flat. There's that blue note again. Ba-ba-da-bum. Now I'm starting to kind of feel a bit more of a flow with this section. Eighth note. Ah, yes, we've reached the end. I just had to take a deep breath there for a minute. So far, this has been the most stressful section of the whole piece. But once I've done this once, I won't have to do it again. I can basically copy and paste the rhythm and just edit the notes from there. More coffee, please. I think this has probably been, the longest stream of all. I think I'm going to go for the full hour today, you guys. If you're willing to stay on, you don't have to, obviously. But I'm going to, once I get this next bar notated and this beam here beamed properly, or this next bar beamed properly, I'm going to drag it all down to the tab. That shouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes. And then that'll be kind of the tutorial section of this live stream. So for those of you who are still online, thank you for hanging out with me this whole time. It's been a pleasure. Now for the bass line, let's get over to I'll tie that over too. So this should be a 16th note. Also should be a 16th note. So here we are right here. Actually, that was correct. That should be an 8th note. Cool, and then a dotted 8th note to end it, and then that's it, y'all. That's it for this chaos measure. This is maybe one of my favorite grooves in the whole piece, and I knew it was going to be a huge hassle to get it all right. Okay, so that's all good. Now what I want to do is beam all of these in groups of 5. This is what we were talking about last week as far as depicting the steady 16th, the steady flow of 16th notes. But because I've got these groups of 5, it's kind of the quintuplet swing that I want to go for. That. So let's see what we can do. Actually, this is not going to be that tricky of a thing to do for. So first, I was about to point to the screen like you guys could see it. So these highlighted red notes in the first part of the bar already in groups of 5 16th notes, right? So we have 1 16th note, 2 16th note, and then a dotted 8th note, which is worth 3 16th notes. So we got the 5 16th notes covered there. An 8th note, 2 16th notes, dotted 8th note, 3 16th notes. We're steady there. All right. So let's take these and break those up. So 2 plus 2 plus 1, right? 5. And then 2 plus 3. We have 5 16th notes. So that's what our bass line is going to look like. It's going to be a little bit crazy, but I got to, notate some of those back to mutes. So now for the Coup De Grace, I don't know if I've never actually known what that means. What makes this part a little easier is just following the beaming of the baseline, right? So let's double check it together, shall we? So 2/8 notes, or sorry, 2/16, 1/16, 2/16. So 5, okay, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, solid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That measure is done. Doesn't it look so much cleaner than it looked a minute ago? It's lovely. All right. So then we just have to do this guy right here. That's going to be the beginning of this. So so actually I can just also, oops, that's not what I wanted. It's still fine though. Oh, actually, one tiny corrective thing. This, instead of, oops, an A should be an E. That's it. Oh man, well, I always appreciate you guys logging on with me while I do all this stuff. It's quite tedious. And I honestly, I really do love doing it so much. It can just be really grinding. Oh, actually, you know what? That's supposed to start right here. Yep. And then this is already set because I want that full last beat to be silent. Now, what we can start doing is dragging a tab down and getting some of our mutes put into place. Like this one, for example. Should be an X, right-handed mute, another right-handed mute. 192, I remember, is the mute symbol. That's all gibberish to me as far as I can tell. Oh, oops, wrong one. Should have been this one. Yep. All set there. All right. So, and S. Howard, I got to set up that autosave feature. I'm sure there's an autosave feature on this program. This is what the first 8 bars of Mothership looks like. At least this is what the standard notation looks like. So step 2 is to just grab all of these bars right here and bring them all down. Let's just specify 0 as our lowest fret. Bam. That looks not so bad, actually. And you know what? Actually, before we do that, I'm going to Command Z that. I'm going to undo that for just a second because I realize that there are some detail things that I need to do as per usual. I need a slur there. These are all, that's a slur right there. Oops. And that's a slur right there. This is an interesting slur from D to A because they're on completely different strings, but essentially what I'm indicating is that your index finger is going to hammer on the A in its own, and it's in the position that it's at. So, okay, that's all set. I don't have any mutes in that part. Same thing here, right? So I've got an open G and then an F sharp on the 4th string. What that means is I'm actually just hammering on the F without having plucked the D string. I'll go back to that and show you how to do that in a minute. Oops, it's supposed to be right here. And then and then pretty much all of these right here are slurred. And then that's all set. And what I want here, actually, I'll go back and handle that in a second, but I'm going to put a downstroke here. just to indicate, oops, that's not what I wanted, that your index finger is going to fly through that open E minor chord. That's going to be, should be right here. Set. All right. Now what we can do is add some mutes. Bonk. So this is going to be a left-hand mute, which I remember which if you remember from last week was an X in parentheses. Where was that? Right here. And then this is going to be just a normal mute. And then another normal mute here. Mute there. Actually, that note doesn't need to be there. This guy right here. And this can just be a dot, and those can be good. All right, now we can go back just a couple of extra minutes to add in those details. Now we can go back, edit the tab, and then call it a day here, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me while I'm doing this. All right. I think most of this is actually going to look pretty solid. Oh, that one needs to be edited, right? Oops. Same here, should be a 5. It's actually going to be a 0, my bad. 5, 0, and then 5 there. So this section. And then this part down here, second line. Oh, yeah, that needs to be rest. Or at least tied over. Why don't we tie it over? Tab, I can put a rest on it. And then that's all set. This should be on the 12th fret. I'll make that a harmonic. This should be on the 6th fret. That should be open. That's correct. 7th fret here, and then we're good. Beauty. Let's just turn that little guy into a harmonic really quickly. Oops. Command S, save it up. And then this is where things get a little bit nuts. So I actually got to spread these staves out a little bit. Much better. All right. I actually think most of this is going to look or stay pretty solid. That didn't work. Oh, it's because that should be a C natural. That's why. That's all. All right. That's all we're going to do today, you guys. 8 whole bars down, lots of activity. Few mistakes that kind of slowed things down a little bit today, but nonetheless, we got it all done. Here we are, you guys. It's sounding really good. It's looking really good. Thank you all so much for joining in today. Let me get this screen share stopped, just like every week. Stop sharing. Okay. For those of you who joined in today, Howard, Joy, everyone else, I very much appreciate your time. Thanks for having a good time with me today on this stream, and I'll see you all again next Friday.